Danny Boyle's Sunshine is an underrated science fiction gem worth seeking out for anyone who has yet to see it. Though the movie was not a box office hit, it is well regarded by fans and critics as an exciting genre film that's also thought-provoking and powerful in its themes. The film tells the story of a group of astronauts on a mission to deliver a nuclear bomb to Earth's dying sun in the hopes of reigniting it and saving the world. From the excellent direction to the sharp script to the knockout cast, Sunshine is a sci-fi epic like no other. Hello, and welcome to the channel. Today we're bringing you some Did You Know facts about Sunshine. So, let's get started. Inspirations. Though Sunshine feels like its own unique story in the genre, Boyle and screenwriter Alex Garland did draw on some classics when shaping their film. One of the biggest influence was Stanley Kubrick's 2001 A Space Odyssey, which is one of Danny Boyle's favorites. Another movie that the filmmakers acknowledged as guiding them is Solaris, which also deals with a more cerebral sci-fi story. Ridley Scott's Alien was another inspiration, specifically in the ensemble crew and the claustrophobic feeling of the story. This film does a tremendous job of communicating the anxiety and intensity of being in space. These people are trapped inside this vessel, knowing that so many things could go dangerously wrong, yet there's no help coming for them. Again, Boyle looked at the claustrophobic feel of Alien as an inspiration for this tension. He achieved it by never cutting back to Earth and showing few shots outside the spacecraft, so the audience feels they're stuck on this ship as well. He also had the cast tour a nuclear submarine to get a sense of that feeling. The spaceship. The name of the spaceships, Icarus, is symbolic. Icarus is a character in Greek mythology. His father, Daedalus, made a pair of wings for himself and his son so they could escape from a prison. He made them from feathers and wax. Before they took off, Daedalus warned his son not to fly too close to the sun as the wax will melt, nor too close to the sea as the feathers will dampen. But overcome by the feeling that flying gave him, Icarus soared through the sky, too close to the sun. His wings melted, and Icarus fell into the sea. There's a visual reference to Icarus in the movie. Feathered wings are briefly visible in the golden circle before the ship explodes. The interior of the ship was built entirely on London sound stages. Production designer Mark Tillisley deliberately chose to make the ship messy with lots of exposed wiring to resemble the exposed nerves of the crew. When boarding the Icarus I, one of the crew members jokes that if they were to split up and search the ship, they might get picked off one at a time by aliens. This is undoubtedly a reference to Alien, where this happens to Brett and Dallas as they search their ship. Director Danny Boyle was once in talks to direct the fourth film in the Alien franchise, which ultimately became Alien Resurrection, but bowed out due to creative differences with the studio. They originally planned to build a second Icarus set for the other ship and design it so the characters were walking on its walls and ceilings, both to acknowledge its current state and to differentiate it visually from the main ship. But they couldn't afford the cost of construction. Instead, they settled on covering the new ship's interior with dust. Cyril's statement in the movie about 80% of dust being human skin is a commonly held but false urban myth. Common household dust on Earth is composed of many things, and none of them individually account for anything close to 80% of it. Moreover, the crew of the Icarus I apparently committed mass suicide early in their mission when they reached Mercury, and dead people do not produce new skin cells. And even then, Cyril should be able to deduce that the inch-thick dust over everything could have never accumulated from the skin cells of such a small crew, dead or alive. The Sun. The plot does not revolve around the sun dying in the normal sense. This is not due for around 5 billion years based on our understanding of nuclear fusion. It has instead been infected with a cue ball, a supersymmetric nucleus left over from the Big Bang, that's disrupting the normal matter. This is a theoretical particle that scientists at CERN are currently trying to confirm, and was one of the many contributions of the Science Advisor. The film's bomb is meant to blast the cue ball to its constituent parts, which will then naturally decay, allowing the sun to return to normal. In the original screenplay, the Icarus payload was the same size but was made of highly compressed dark matter, and had the same mass as the Moon, so it had its own gravity. The science advisor pointed out problems with using a bomb that massive, so it was reduced to the mass of Manhattan. A take with the original line can be seen on the DVD in a deleted scene. One of the biggest challenges facing the visual effects team was to create the sun itself. This was done with CGI and turned out to be the longest CGI sequencing ever done by a London production house. One of the most recognizable actors in the film at the time of release would have been Michelle Yeoh. Apart from being an action star in China, she has found success in Hollywood with roles in Tomorrow Never Dies, Memoirs of a Geisha, and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Having seen her work in those films, Boyle asked Yeoh to audition. He was so impressed with her audition that he allowed her to choose any role in the script for herself, including the male roles. Yeoh decided to play the ship's reserved biologist, Corazon. Harvey. In 2018, when promoting his film Annihilation, Alex Garland revealed that the character of Harvey was actually named after Harvey Weinstein due to his often rude and snappy attitude to the other crew members and arrogant superiority complex. Danny Boyle thought it'd be funny to pay homage to Weinstein in this way after Harvey had been difficult with the handling of the U.S. release of Trainspotting and trying to cut out some of the more disturbing scenes. Religious aspects. Pinbacker represents a fundamentalist view of religion in this story. He believes the dying star is God's way of bringing the human race to heaven, and the mission to reignite it is an affront to God's plan. Originally, there were more religious themes in the story as introduced by Alex Garland. The idea was that as characters traveled closer to the sun, the atheism at the center of their science conflicted with the religious feeling of their mission. However, Boyle thought these aspects were too distracting. Spacesuits. When the characters have to venture out into the unforgiving blackness of space, they put on their own unique spacesuits for the mission. The unusual look of the suits was a deliberate choice by the filmmakers who hoped to distinguish the look from other cinematic spacesuits. Apart from the gold color, the suits have a funnel-shaped helmet. Apparently, the inspiration for this design was the look of Kenny from South Park. An unusual inspiration, but memorable nonetheless. In the scene where Kappa falls over in the very heavy gold spacesuit and struggles to get back up, unbeknownst to him, several stagehands held him down while he was inside the suit for the internal shots, in an attempt to make his struggling look more realistic. No more sci-fi, please. Danny Boyle has said that he always wanted to make his own science fiction movie, and helped develop this story with Alex Garland so he could finally explore the genre. While he was satisfied with the film he made, the process was maybe not as pleasant as he had hoped. Boyle admits that the work of building a science fiction story was more emotionally exhausting than any film he had done before. Once it was finished, he announced that he would never return to the genre again, and to date, he has kept that promise. But what other fun trivia facts do you know about Sunshine? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you enjoy this type of content, why not subscribe to our channel? Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again in our next video.